This perp back with another video, and I just got done watching the season finale of Shameless season 10. This is episode 12. Man, we got a lot to talk about, so I hope y'all enjoyed this episode because I sure did. And make sure you go check out some of my other Shameless content that I've made. Like, I talk about some spin-offs they could possibly do, and I also have a video on how the whole series of Shameless should end with the final season. Maybe it's a long shot, but who knows? Maybe just definitely go check it out and let me know how you feel about it. Hit that like button, hit that just sub button, and also follow me on Twitter at perpminded. With all that being said, enough blabbering, and let's get right into this. So when we saw the previews of last week's of this week's episode, it was going to be centered around Lip, but also Mickey and Ian. This is their wedding day pretty much. So this is Ian's big day. He's getting married. Everybody's making sure he's taking his meds because this is a kind of a stressful day for him, so they don't want him to slip into his bipolar. Meanwhile, while this is going on, Debbie and Sandy have gotten pretty close, but while this is going on, the place that they were supposed to have the wedding got burnt down. Mickey's dad is not having it. He wants to pretty much kill Mickey for even trying to do this, so that's an interesting aspect to this episode. But that's not really stopping none of them. While this is going on, we have what I think kind of makes up for, what's been going on with Kevin V's storyline this season. Is now Kevin has found his niche, but also he's kind of hiding something from V. I'll get to that later on into this review. But, it's cool to see Kev finally getting the hustle that he enjoys. So, Lip pops up at Tami's crib because at the beginning he couldn't find her, and she left a note saying, I'm leaving. Not saying I'm leaving, but, Fred's gone. So she pops up at the house, finds out that he got fired, and she kind of takes Fred and dips off. And we don't really see Tami, but, Lip's kind of concerned. Meanwhile, the family's trying to pretty much figure out where they're going to have this wedding at. While this is going on, they're having this back and forth trying to find a spot to have this wedding at. Liam tries to find Frank and tricks him into pretty much coming to the wedding by pretty much telling a lie, saying Lip's gonna sell the house, and this gets Frank pretty freaked out, and he pretty much falls for it, hook, line, and sinker. And it's really interesting how that plays out later on into this episode. But meanwhile, so they end up finding a spot, this Polish spot, but they don't allow gay couples to get married there also, so they have to come up with a plan to kind of trick them. But before they could leave, Julia shows up, and Julia is a huge problem. Remember, I say this because, she pops up a lot, and she's becoming an issue for Debbie. A bigger issue, I would say. But she definitely gets a reality check by Sandy, and she gets clocked in the face, which Julia definitely deserves. She's acting like a whole bitch. So now at the Polish place, Debbie's gotta have to kind of convince these people to let them, have a wedding there. And it's interesting that Lip tells Debbie to just tap into a traumatic time in your childhood, and Debbie does it so flawlessly, and I gotta give it to the actress. I'm drawing a blank on her name right now. I gotta give kudos to the actress because she really did her thing in this episode, and I gotta salute her. So while this is going on, they go back to the house, and they pretty much tell them the plan. Like, Mickey's gonna have to get married to Debbie, but they have a plan to to make sure it's not going to actually be Mickey and Debbie. Meanwhile, Frank pops up and freaks out on Lip, is about to kill him for trying to sell the house, and Lip saying like, we're not selling the house, this is a wedding. And even Frank kind of acknowledges how smart Liam is, and I want to see a future of the future of Liam, even just do a time skip or something like that, like 5 years into the future. I don't know, man. Like I definitely would want to see more of Liam, because I think his character is so interesting, and it feels too short because we're finally getting more of his character, and with the series coming to an end, it's kind of sad. But like I said, going back to Debbie and Julia is having a fit, is trying to just piss her mom off by just staying at Debbie's the Gallaghers. It's not going home, and like I said, remember, this becomes a big issue for Debbie, and I'll get back to that very shortly later into this review. Back at the Polish place, Lip's trying to just show Ian and Mickey around, and Frank shows up, and he's not liking the vibes here because he knows the chick that owns this place, and they have passed. And this is why I really want a spin-off with a younger Frank, and we can get some of these stories told to us. But everything gets put into motion. Debbie gets into full character. Meanwhile, you have Mickey's dad trying to tracking down where the wedding's going down, and he's pissed, so he's heading to the Polish place now because of he'd rather kill Mickey before he marries another man, pretty much. But it's too late because now it's time for things to get going. We got this moment of Lip and Ian going back and forth. I like this. They finally get married and live happily ever after. Good for them. It's not my cup of tea, to be honest, but for the sake of the show, it was cool. I don't mind their characters at all. I think they're two of the funniest characters on the show, most definitely. And you got Julia and Carl kind of hitting it off, which that's going to be interesting for going into the last season. Now we finally figure out what Kevin was hiding, and he was going to propose to V. He spent $800 on a ring, which like I said, I know a lot of people would want to see that spinoff, a Kev and V spinoff, which I got a video of that coming soon. Now going to probably the most controversial moment of this episode, this finale, Lip and Tami. I see a lot of people hate Tami. I'm not one of those people. I'm actually for the Tami being with Lip. I think it's works really well. Yeah, she was kind of wild and trying to take Fred away from Lip, but she really loves Lip and wants them to just focus on their family. And I think she realizes that, most definitely. You could tell by the end of this episode, but it has its negative effects on Lip, where Lip ends up taking a drink because he's stressed out through the whole situation. He doesn't want to lose his child. He doesn't want to lose Tami at the same time, so he ends up taking a drink. And man, this crushed my soul because he's been sober for so long, and to see him take a drink, it hit hard. There were some back-to-back hitting moments when, like Ian mentioned, he misses Monica and whatnot, and they still care about their parents, and they just want to be better versions of them at the end of the day. So Lip shows up to Brad's house and pretty much says like, yo, I need to go to a meeting ASAP before this gets worse. And Tammy's there, and man, that was such a surprise, because she really loves Lip, and people got to realize that. But now going back to Julia, Cops show up the crib early in the morning. You think everything's all peachy, but they're looking for Debbie because Julia's a minor and they got a warrant for her arrest. So that's going to be interesting going to season 11, how that's going to play out. But I loved how this episode ended with Tami showing up to the house and wanting to help, and that's her just putting her pride to the side finally, and now they're gonna be able to do what they got to do for Fred and just their family. And that's all she wrote. But I enjoyed this season. Yes, it's weird without Fiona, but I think this was a really strong season. It kind of had its slow moments, but it had its dope moments, and I really can't wait to see the last season because I think it's going to be very emotional. Man. But till next year, I'll see y'all later. Let me know what you think in the comments below. But next time, I'm out.